You just need to stay in your lane. Now, when somebody tells you to stay in your lane, generally they're telling you that you need to mind the business that pays you and stay out of their business. However, I use this saying as a self-check, as an artist, as a creator, as a photographer, as a filmmaker, as a business owner. And honestly, even if you're just a regular person who works a 9-to-5 who happened to stumble upon this video, you can still use some of this advice as well. We'll talk about that at the end. However, let me give you a little story to tell you what I mean and how I got there. Back in 2016, when I went full-time with photography, I made a connection on Instagram with a person named Amali Orange. She was a wedding photographer at the time, and now she has a business called The Branded Boss Lady. She's rebranded into doing branding photography specifically for women creative entrepreneurs. Now, she serves her client base so well and has such a strong brand messaging that she's also attracted a few men to get their photos done as well. The point is, she gave 20-year-old Sydney a piece of advice that I still carry around to this day. A piece of advice that has allowed me to build the business of my dreams, a brand that gives me personal freedom and creative freedom and is authentic to me, and has allowed me to travel the world doing what I love. And that is, unless you are friends with said person, do not follow your peers in the industry who are your competition. Now, that looks different for me as a photographer and a filmmaker and as a content creator here on YouTube. And I'll explain how that's different in a second. But first, let's talk about the why. Like I said in the beginning of this video, the point is, you just need to stay in your lane. What your peers or what your competition are doing is none of your business. What I find generally ends up happening, and I have seen this not only in myself when I look back at the beginning parts of my career, but also with the students that I've had over the past 4 years, is that while social media is a great tool to be able to get inspiration, two big things happen that are unintended consequences. One, you start to compare your work and your worth to others, and you also start to do that with your goals. And that can muddy up the vision that you have, and that can also hinder your goal setting so that you can continue to scale your business to the next level. Looking back at my photography journey, and this is a form of social media we don't really talk about anymore, but I stumbled upon wedding photography through a photographer's blog by the name of Jasmine Star, and I loved her style and I loved her work. And I remember as a very young photographer in high school, one of the things I was constantly doing was trying to emulate her look. I felt like if I could just get my photos to look like her, if I could just get the lighting to be the way that she has it, I'll be set. As I went on from high school and it didn't quite work out that way, I was wondering why, right? And the same thing with YouTube, this is when it clicked for me that I still needed to apply this. I was so focused on the people I looked up to, like Peter McKinnon and Maddie Hapuya, that all I was doing was trying to create similar videos that they had. And then as I even progressed a little bit, I would start telling myself, there's no point in making this video. It's already been done. Why should I try to go and put my own little spin on whatever I'm going to do? Nobody wants to see that. There's a million of these videos out there. I was stopping myself in my tracks. On the photography side, not only was I so concerned with emulating the look of another artist's image and therefore not developing my own personal artistic style and embracing it, but also I wasn't focused on the thing that matters, which is serving the people who are there for you, serving your client base, serving the people that you've attracted. I can't do what Jasmine Star was doing because the people she's serving are not the people I'm serving. She's going to serve her people the best. I need to focus on the people that I can serve the best. And you can even see that even more so on the YouTube side, because this is a very personality-based platform. I have a take that is going to attract certain people and repel certain people. But if I start trying to be like person Z over there, I am no longer going to be the person that attracted you. And therefore, I'm not going to serve that purpose that I need to serve for you. And what I also failed to realize, because I was so focused with other people's work in front of me, is that I was working counterintuitively against myself because I was trying to be like somebody who already existed. And furthermore, I was doing it horribly because I wasn't focused on the right things. There's already one Jasmine Star. There's already one Peter McKinnon. There's already one Maddie Hapuya. There's not going to be another. But there will be a Sydney Baker Green. There will be a you. And that's what you have to focus on, is creating your own separate brand identity and figuring out who you're going to serve the best, and then throw all your energy into serving them. And also focus on your own artistic vision and give leeway to the things that you like about your style and what you don't like about your style. Focus on the things you want to change for yourself and not in comparison with others. And for a while, I was suffering artistically after I found my own voice and my own true artistic style, because I had spent so much time focused on trying to emulate somebody else that I now have built a brand around things that I didn't really take time to realize I don't necessarily like that. I don't necessarily like that rule. I don't necessarily like that style of shooting. But my portfolio reflected that. So it took a long time to be able to start implementing those changes to not shock your portfolio, so that you can still continue to attract the clients and they get the images they're expecting. I think back to all the Lightroom preset packs that I've created, which are editing styles that I really love, that I really enjoy, and that I use on a lot of my personal work. But my Instagram feed never reflect that because the style was so different. As a matter of fact, if you follow me on Instagram and you watch my Instagram stories when I'm traveling, you will see how I edit my photos from my iPhone or from my camera that I'm posting on my story, and how I call that personal Sydney, and versus the photos that are on my feed, which I call brand Sydney. So let me tell you how I implement this, because it's different for photography and filmmaking, which has markets in a set location, and YouTube content creation, which has a market that's all over the world. For photography and filmmaking, unless you are my friend, I do not follow anybody within 70 miles of my main market in my state. And for the destination work that I do, I don't follow anybody in the markets that I'm targeting. And I also have one more safeguard in place, where even if we are not in the same market or in competition, and I find myself starting to compare my work to said person, I will unfollow. Even if I admire their work, I will unfollow to protect my goals and my artistic calmness, whatever you want to call it, the contentness, because as I said, comparison is the thief of joy. Now, the way that I implement this with content creation is different, because as I said, with photography, you have those physical locations. YouTube, it's the internet. There's people all over the world talking about the same thing that you do. Now with YouTube, it's a bit different, because with photography and filmmaking, those markets are in set locations. With YouTube, it's a worldwide internet platform. So I do two things. One, unless I know you in real life and we are friends, or I really like the content you make, simply put, I won't subscribe to the channel. The second thing that I do, I have a separate channel where I make sure my Explorer page and my Watch page is all curated with content that I enjoy watching that is not related to my industry. You guessed it. I don't watch content related to my industry unless it's simply breaking news, or I need to learn something, or I want to learn something that I didn't know how to do, because YouTube is still my learning playground. But doing those things helps protect me and allows me to compete with the one person I need to compete with, me, because that's the only person you're really in competition with. It's you. And so the thing you need to take away, regardless of if you're a creative business owner or just a normal person who stumbled upon this video, you do not need to worry about what other people are doing. You do not need to try to replicate someone else's success. You need to focus on your success. And by taking out all the distractions around you of what other people are doing, or what the person you look up to or admire is doing, or where they're at in life, you focus on where you're at, and then you start making process goals to get you to where you want to be. You accept the reality of where you're at, you look at what you want to change, and then you brainstorm, okay, so what can I do to get me here, right? Because you don't just want to have your end goal, right? Your end goal could be, yeah, I want 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Okay, so what do you do now on a daily basis to get there? You can say, I want to be debt-free and hanging out in Dubai every other weekend. Okay, that's your goal. Now, what do you need to do on a daily basis to get debt-free and be where you want to be? How much debt do you have? How much money are you spending on things you don't need to spend it on? You get the point. But if you're just fixed on where somebody else is, or how well somebody else is doing, or how well even their video did, you're just going to be stuck with analysis paralysis, and you may just end up talking yourself out of creating something that actually people will enjoy. And my final thing that I have to say is the videos on my channel that I did not think would do well, that I put off making for the longest time because either somebody else had done it or was already being talked about, are the videos that have done the best on my channel. Before I sign off, if you are a returning viewer, I want you to know these type of videos are going to become a new normal. I'm going back to my roots. One of the things I really loved about YouTube in the beginning, before I got 30,000 subscribers, is simply sitting down in front of a camera, sharing a positive message, and hoping to have a positive impact on one person's day. And all of those things can get somewhat lost in the midst of growing so quickly and trying to just continue to replicate what you've been doing before. All of that, it's done. Remember, the numbers don't matter. Impact does. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications if you have not. Follow me on social media. The link is in the description down below, and leave me a comment letting me know a piece of advice that you carry through, that you got a while ago, that you still apply to this day. Now more than ever, my beautiful people, if you are ever feeling uninspired, uncreative, or just want to give up on life, remember, every day, airplanes take off against the wind. Keep climbing, stay inspired, and as always, stay fabulous. I'm Sydney. I'll see you beautiful people next time. Peace out.